After my college entrance exam score came out 698 me, online gaming girlfriend broke up with me. With a score like that, and in engineering no less, he must be some overweight nerd. She scoffed, joking with her roommates about how ugly I must be, completely forgetting her voice chat was still on. Then one of the teammates pulled out a gun and shot her. Messing with my direct junior? Tough luck. When the new semester started, I met up with her in person. Staring at the fair-skinned, beautiful, and cool upperclassman before me, I fell silent. Wait, you're calling someone else a scumbag with a face like that? Aren't you a bit presumptuous? After the exam results came out, I pulled an all-nighter playing video games. My parents were busy spreading the good news among friends and relatives and didn't bother me. So when I got a call from Latina the next morning, my voice was hoarse. She cut straight to the point. Luke, let's break up. I had met Latina Mera by chance in a game. Her skills were average, but she had money a typical pay-to-win player. Plus, her voice was sweet. On the night after the exams, she confessed, and we got together. I didn't expect it to fall apart in less than a month. All right. I agreed without much fuss. After all, we hadn't even met in real life, might as well consider it losing a virtual pet. Latina seemed relieved. We can still play games together, right? I agreed. Right after finishing a match, Latina changed her profile picture. I didn't think much of it, and was about to log off when a strange voice chimed in through my headset. Yo, Latina. Why'd you change your avatar all of a sudden? Breakup? Apparently, Latina had left her voice chat on. Before I could remind her, I heard her sneer. Of course, you know his exam score was 698, right? And he plans to apply to a university's computer science program. An engineering guy with that score? Must be some overweight nerd. You think I'd really wait to meet him and be scared to death? The other teammates fell silent. Latina sounded confused. Hey, why aren't you guys moving? Bang! 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 The top player on the team suddenly fired 3 shots, blowing Latina's head off. Latina was furious. Are you crazy? Why the hell did you kill me? Her voice cut off, realizing at last that everyone had heard what she just said. A lazy, mature voice followed, sounding indifferent. Messing with my direct junior? Tough luck, huh? This teammate usually never spoke, but had amazing skills. I always thought of them as cold and aloof. Never expected their first words to be sticking up for me. Just then, my phone buzzed like crazy. It was my buddy, Kyle, calling. I logged out of the game and picked up, only to be bombarded with his frantic voice. Luke? Dude! You're my hero. You actually scored 698, first in the city. Help me ascend to greatness. I held the phone a bit farther away. Stop yelling. Your bro just went through a breakup. Kyle, huh? I repeated what had just happened. Maybe she thought I was ugly. Kyle fumed. What? She's got issues or what? If you're the tank of our school, what the hell are we then? Forget it. I didn't feel like bothering with it anymore. I remembered what that ace teammate said earlier, and sent them a private message. Hey, senior. Thanks for helping me out earlier. Wanna add me on WeChat? I'll treat you to a meal when school starts. A minute later, the aloof senior replied with just one word. Sure. Latina getting shot in front of everyone was undoubtedly humiliating. She raged, quit the game right then and there. But I didn't expect her to message me that evening. Get online. Let's go another round. Looked like she was determined to save face. Quite the temper, huh? I glanced at her teammates. That ID looks familiar. A lazy voice chimed through my headset. Professional carry. I nearly jumped, rubbing my ears out of discomfort. This person. We'd been playing together for so long, and she barely spoke. Ever since she stood up for me, she seemed to have stopped typing altogether, just voice chat. It was a bit hard to get used to. Looking at Latina's newly upgraded gear, I couldn't help but worry. Can we win? She was clearly set on making a comeback, and had spent a small fortune to do it. The ace senior asked in her usual lazy tone, Wanna win? I didn't hesitate. Of course. So what if you're a pay-to-win player? She chuckled lightly. All right. 9 minutes later, Latina and her freshly hired professional player were both shot cleanly in the head. On the other end, a string of curses erupted before they abruptly disconnected. I pondered for a while before sending a message. Senior, if I study computer science at a university, can I be as good as you? Not necessarily, she finally replied, breaking her usual brevity. Depends on your aptitude. I got the hint. Then I'll cover your breakfast for a whole month. Senior went back to her cold and aloof self-no reply. After the results were released, my life got busy again. Interviews, college applications, getting my driver's license. There was so much going on that I barely logged into the game for over a month. I wasn't expecting Latina to reach out again. Luke, we broke up peacefully. There's no need for you to stop playing because of me, right? I stared at my screen, huh? What kind of nonsense is she spouting now? When I logged back into my long-abandoned account, I found that rumors had spread like wildfire. A few familiar teammates messaged me right away. Luke, you're finally back! It's just a breakup. It's not that big of a deal. A girl like Latina who only cares about looks is shallow. You're better off without her. I was completely bewildered. No, I was just busy. But no matter how much I tried to explain, no one believed me. I mulled it over for a bit and finally pieced it together. Latina had found herself a new boyfriend. That new guy she's been playing with, that's him. I heard the avatar is his real photo. He studies broadcasting. I watched for a while, and honestly couldn't bear to look. His gameplay was absolutely terrible. Even with all that money poured into the game, it didn't help at all. It was almost painful to watch Latina coaxing him along with sweet talk. To cleanse my eyes, I went looking for the ace senior to team up. Sometimes, she seemed incredibly busy. Other times, she had all the free time in the world. I was blunt with my request. Ace, my eyes need cleansing. Can you show me some real skills? 5 minutes later, she and I teamed up and completely wiped the floor with the other team. That was the refreshment I needed. I was feeling completely satisfied when I was about to log off. But then, her slightly cool voice came through the headset. Seems like you really liked her, huh? I almost thought I'd misheard her. What? The ace clarified. People are saying that when she broke up with you, your voice was hoarse. They figured you smoked a pack all night. Me. But now she's got a new man, and she seems happy. Let it go. Not worth it for a girl like that. Me. This is just ridiculous. I replied with a straight face. Why would I lose sleep over her? There are so many girls at a university, I won't be short of options. Ace. Realizing how that sounded, I quickly corrected myself. Actually, I'm not greedy. I'll just take the prettiest one. There was a long pause on the other end before I heard a soft chuckle. You've got big ambitions. At the end of August, it was time to start university. I dragged my suitcase along as I headed to campus. The sun was blazing, not a breeze in sight. I adjusted my baseball cap and kept walking. The university had everything, but it was huge. Suddenly, a girl jogged over from a distance. Hey, are you a freshman? I looked up, and she froze for a moment, her ears turning visibly red. Thank you, senior. I'm from the computer science department. Could you tell me where the registration area is? Her eyes grew wide with shock. It wasn't until I asked her again that she finally stammered out, red-faced. Oh, just keep going straight, then turn left. Or would you like me to take you there? I politely declined her offer and kept moving forward until I finally found the place. A few guys were lounging lazily on chairs. When they saw me stop, one of them clicked his tongue. Another one here for Isabel. Hey, freshman, don't bother. She just went to the counselor's office. Come back later. Isabel? Who? No. I handed over my documents. I'm here to register. After settling into my dorm, I got a message from Kyle. Luke, just thinking about not seeing you every day is killing me. Calm down, son. If I remember correctly, your school is right across the street from mine. Ugh, the gap between us is insane. Kyle groaned. You know you got posted on a university's confession page on your first day, right? Meanwhile, I'm still invisible over here. Me? Confession page? I clicked on it, and sure enough, there it was, a candid photo of me with my suitcase under the sweltering sun, looking like I was melting. Never thought anyone would snap that. Wow. A freshman this good-looking this year? No kidding. This guy's gotta be the new campus heartthrob, right? Which department is he in? Someone get me his contact info. I'll pay. Forget it. He's in the computer science department. He's probably a super cold straight-A nerd. Regular people don't stand a chance. Wait, what? No way! The computer science department already has Isabel, and now this guy? Campus prince and princess both in the same department? That's just unfair. Isabel? That must be the Isabel Lopez people were talking about earlier. Seems like she's pretty popular. Oh, right. I almost forgot to message the ace. Hey, senior. I made it to campus. There was a bit of a delay before she replied. I was busy just now. You're here already? Yup. But don't worry, my roommates are here too. We're heading out to grab some food. A few minutes later, she sent me a list. These spots near the West Gate are good. Man, it's nice to have a local guide. Super convenient. My roommates were all in different majors, but they were good guys. After introducing ourselves, we got ready to head out. We had just sat down at the hot pot place when Latina suddenly sent me a photo, and my heart nearly skipped a beat. It was the picture of me dragging my suitcase that morning. Luke, is this guy from your department? Seeing Latina's follow-up message, I had mixed feelings. Yeah, how'd you know? Don't you know, he's like super famous right now. Even my school's heard about it. A university got this super hot freshman in the computer science department. Wait a minute. Didn't she just get a new boyfriend? Why was she suddenly poking around about this? I guess so, I replied. To my surprise, Latina sent over a red envelope right after. You've got the inside track. Can you get me his contact info? Me. There are so many ways to reconnect with your ex. But this? I did not see this one coming. Your boyfriend won't mind, I asked. Latina didn't seem to care, laughing. We're just making friends. Why would he mind? If you get it for me, I'll double the red envelope. Deal? I accepted the money without hesitation. All right, I'll try. After all, I'd already added her ages ago. Getting paid for something I already had? Easy money. I just put down my phone when one of my roommates suddenly gasped. Hey, is that Isabel? Huh? I turned to look outside the window. Even though I didn't recognize who they were talking about, I immediately knew. She stood out. The girl was tall, at least 5'7". Long legs, slender waist, eye-catching for sure. She was standing on the side of the road with a couple of friends, looking down at her phone like she was waiting for someone. I couldn't see her face clearly, but her straight nose, porcelain skin, and soft, wavy brown hair were striking. There was a kind of casual elegance about her. It was impossible to look away. My phone buzzed just then. It was a message from Ace. How's the food? I snapped a picture of the hot pot and sent it over. You recommended it. It's great. Ace, Chen's old hot pot? I couldn't help but be impressed. Yep, she'd been around a university for 2 years. She recognized it instantly. My roommate suddenly squealed in hushed excitement. Hey, I think Isabel just looked over here. Out of reflex, I glanced up, catching her eyes across the road. But before I could get a good look, a car pulled up in front of her. One of her friends tugged her arm, and she put her phone away and got in the car. The car drove off, and my 3 roommates were still reeling. Dude, we saw Isabel on our first day. What kind of luck is that? She's stunning. That's what they mean by untouchable beauty. I chimed in weakly. So, you all know her? The 3 of them stared at me like I was from another planet. Bro, she's basically a campus legend. How do you not know her? Gorgeous. Perfect GPA every semester. And she's a beast at badminton. Guys have been throwing themselves at her since day 1, but no one's ever succeeded. We were counting on you to try your luck with her, but you're already fumbling on day 1. Me. That evening, after showering, I logged back into the game. Surprisingly, Ace was online. Shouldn't you be busy with the new semester? How do you still have time for games? I replied honestly. Military training starts the day after tomorrow. I won't have time after that. Ace. I remembered what my roommate said earlier and couldn't help but ask, hey, senior, do you know Isabel? Ace? Between you and her, who's stronger? Ace? There was a long pause, and I started to rethink my approach. Did I ask that too directly? Not very considerate, huh? I quickly followed up. Don't worry, senior. I'm just curious. I'm not the type who judges by looks. To me, you're the best in the computer science department. This time, She finally replied. Some compliments are better left unsaid. Why did expressing my loyalty get me scolded? I genuinely thought she was better. So I tried a different angle. How about this? When military training ends, let's grab a meal together. Ace replied with an okay. But I didn't expect to embarrass myself so badly on the first day of military training. There was a guy who kept marching with his arms and legs moving on the same side. During a break, the drill instructor asked me to help correct him, but the more I tried to teach him, the more nervous he got, and after 10 attempts, I somehow got infected with the habit too. The guy couldn't help but whisper, Instructor, I think you're doing it wrong too. Me. Suddenly, I heard a soft chuckle from the sidelines. I froze. That laugh, it sounded familiar. I turned my head and saw a tall, slender figure walking past the edge of the field, holding a badminton racket. I recognized her right away. It was Isabel. She must have just finished at the badminton courts. The bangs on her forehead were slightly damp with sweat, and her t-shirt clung to her body, tracing her curves. Her skirt revealed long, fair legs. I had to admit, the guys at A University weren't exaggerating. Her looks were indeed exceptional. Our eyes met for just a moment. She probably didn't expect me to catch her staring. She seemed stunned for a split second, then nodded politely. My heart skipped a beat. I quickly turned away, clenching my fists. Great! I've just lost all my dignity in front of her. By the end of the day, news of my marching mishap had spread like wildfire. Even Kyle called me, bursting with laughter. Luke, did you see? Someone posted a video of you marching wrong during training. You actually got mixed up too? My vision darkened. That's not me. Kyle snickered. You guys have it rough. Our training is pretty chill. We spent half the day just singing. Oh, by the way, can I borrow your game account? I'm bored out of my mind. Since I wasn't in the mood to play anyway, I gave him my password. That evening, after training, I took out my phone and saw that the campus confession page was still blowing up. Breaking news. The new campus prince has finished training and just came out of the East Field. Not gonna lie, this guy's really handsome. Even in the military uniform, he's got that stoic, uniformed look. I heard he scored 698 on his entrance exam. What did life take away from him to compensate for this? I scrolled through the comments for a bit and was about to put my phone away when Latina called me. Hello, what's up? I asked. Her voice sounded hesitant, almost nervous. Luke, I remember your exam score was 698, right? Does she even need to ask? Isn't that the whole reason she broke up with me in the first place? Yeah? Why? I asked, a bit impatient. There was silence on the other end for a few seconds, like she was figuring out how to phrase her next question. Then, are you at a university right now? Suddenly, I heard another girl's voice on her end. Hey, Latina, your character died again. I can't hold them off. Come back and play. I couldn't help but send Kyle a text. Are you fighting Latina right now? Kyle replied almost immediately. Bro, don't worry. I'm avenging you today. Me, Kyle. No time to chat. I'm killing her 100 times today. Me, don't overdo it. I'll buy you a drink later. I had just finished messaging Kyle when I heard Latina say to the other girl, I'm back. It sounded like she had taken her seat and was furiously clicking her keyboard, mumbling to herself. It's probably just a coincidence. How could it? I couldn't quite hear what she was saying. What did you say? Her tone immediately lightened up. Oh, nothing. That was just my roommate playing earlier. Want to go for another round? Me. Sure. Kyle was probably still out for her head anyway. I walked into a milk tea shop not too crowded. 2 cups of grape bubble tea, please, to go. I was about to scan my phone to pay when suddenly a hand reached out from beside me and scanned first. Beep. I turned around, surprised to see a girl with an oval face smiling at me. You're Luke, right? I'm from the foreign languages department. Can I get your WeChat? I responded blankly. Sorry, I don't use WeChat. Her face fell. Then how about your number? I shook my head. Bad timing. My phone's broken. How much? I'll pay you back. I patted my uniform pockets and realized I didn't bring any cash. She seemed to notice and smiled warmly. In that case, why don't you just leave me your contact info? You can pay me back later. I frowned, feeling a bit annoyed. Just then, a calm voice called out from behind me. 34, right? I'll transfer it. I turned around, stunned. The girl who had tried to get my contact info was also shocked. Isabel? Isabel handed her phone over. Weren't you trying to add someone on WeChat? Add me instead. The girl's expression was hard to describe. Her eyes darted back and forth between me and Isabel. Senior, you two? We're from the same department, easier to get in touch, Isabel replied with a smile, casually paying for both bubble teas. The girl's face turned red and white alternately, and she eventually backed away with her drinks. I thought for a moment and handed one of the cups to Isabel. Thanks, Senior. She didn't take it. She glanced at it briefly, raising an eyebrow. 2 cups? Was the other one for your girlfriend? I immediately shook my head. No, it's for a friend. She nodded, but still didn't take the bubble tea. Maybe she didn't like the flavor. We left the milk tea shop and walked for a while, only to realize we were heading in the same direction. Aren't you going back to your dorm? She glanced at the men's dormitory as we passed by. I cleared my throat awkwardly. I have a friend at the school across the street. I'm going to drop this off for him. I really hoped she didn't think I was just following her. Luckily, she didn't ask further and continued walking towards the school gate. She carried a backpack that seemed to hold a laptop. I'd heard she moved out during her sophomore year to live off campus and start a business with some friends. She didn't talk much. We just walked quietly. But I could feel the occasional glances from passers-by, curious, speculative. I forced myself to find a topic. Senior, I think all the upperclassmen in our department are really nice. Isabel paused mid-step and seemed to chuckle. All of them? I nodded enthusiastically. Yeah. Ace was like that, and Isabel seemed the same. They were really nice people. By then, we had reached the school gate, and I spotted Kyle waiting across the street, waving at me. Luke. I said goodbye to Isabel and jogged over to Kyle. Kyle's eyes were practically sparkling. Dude, wasn't that your school's campus queen, Isabel? How the hell did you two end up together? I raised an eyebrow. You know her too? Kyle rolled his eyes. Come on. You two are like the king and queen of your confession page. You each take up half the space. All right, fair enough. We just ran into each other, I replied, then suddenly smacked my forehead. Damn, I forgot to get her WeChat and pay her back for the drinks. For the next few days, I kept thinking about paying her back. But Isabel was like a phantom. Sometimes she showed up. Sometimes she didn't. The chances of bumping into her were slim, and I didn't want to be that guy asking around about her, so I put it off for now, planning to pay her back the next time we crossed paths. Finally, military training came to an end, and before we knew it, it was National Day. Latina sent me an invitation. There's a new VR game experience center opening downtown. My friend got us some tickets. Wanna join? When I asked around, I found out she'd sent the invite to all our regular gaming friends, including Ace. Since we've all been playing together for so long, it's a good chance to finally meet up, Latina said. Honestly, I wasn't that keen, but I had been curious about that VR center for a while. After thinking it over, I messaged Ace. Senior, are you going? Ace replied, Do you want to go? I answered honestly, I think it might be pretty cool. I just want to check it out. To my surprise, Ace didn't even hesitate. All right, let's go. Though I wasn't exactly thrilled to see Latina again, I was looking forward to meeting the other players, especially Ace. So that morning, I got ready and dressed casually, just a white t-shirt and some joggers. Before heading out, in the group chat, someone pinged me. So, are you and Ace coming together from school? Latina also chimed in. It's pretty hot out. Want my boyfriend to pick you two up? She seemed completely unfazed by the fact that Ace and I had wiped the floor with her before. No need, I replied. Ace said she had something to do in the morning, and it's not far from campus. A 30-minute subway ride will get us there. Latina didn't push it. Okay then, we'll wait for you at the entrance. The VR Experience Center was located right in the heart of downtown. I got off the subway and headed towards the plaza, only to notice a car slowly pull up beside me. A somewhat uncertain voice called out, "Luke?" I turned my head to see a BMW rolling up slowly. Latina was sitting in the passenger seat, looking at me with surprise. I recognized her right away, after all. She had recently changed her avatar to her own photo. It was hard not to notice. Before I could say anything, she exclaimed in delight. "It really is you! I thought I was seeing things." The guy in the driver's seat didn't look too pleased. He shot me a wary glance. "Latina, who's this? You two know each other?" Latina nodded with a smile. "Of course, I have a friend in his department." "Oh, right, he's the guy from our gaming group Zip. You know him, me." This part sets up an interesting twist for the VR experience gathering and the reunion with old gaming friends. The tension with Latina's new boyfriend and the hint of familiarity between Isabel and Ace are definitely building up nicely. Latina then eagerly asked, "Where are you headed?" "If you've got time, you should come with us. The VR game center on the 3rd floor is brand new, still in trial mode. Most people can't even get tickets. My friend got me a bunch of them. It's really fun. Come join us." The guy in the driver's seat looked annoyed. "Latina, there's a car honking behind us. We should go park, right?" When I finally made it to the 3rd floor, they had already taken the elevator up from the underground parking, arriving before me. The guy looked me up and down, frowning slightly, then, almost as if he wanted to stake his claim, he wrapped his arm around Latina's waist. But Latina brushed his hand off right away and walked over to me excitedly. "You're here, about the tickets." The guy's expression darkened. "Latina, there are only so many tickets. If you give him one, what happens when the others show up, and we're short?" Latina didn't seem to care. "What's the big deal? We can just ask for one more, right?" I couldn't help but interject. "No need. I'm pretty sure there's already one for me." Latina's face froze. It took her a moment to find her voice. "What do you mean?" I smiled and said, "Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Zip. My real name's Luke Dawson." The look on Latina's face was priceless shock, disbelief, and utter confusion all rolled into one. She even started to stutter. You're Zip?" Just then, the elevator dinged, and 3 more people stepped out, 2 guys and a girl, all of them looking like college students. The girl must have overheard our conversation because she rushed over, eyes wide. "Holy crap, you're Zip!" I nodded. "And you are Cheesecake?" She nodded vigorously, practically beaming. Yup, you're way more handsome than I imagined." She seemed dazed for a moment, then suddenly added, "Honestly, I was planning on scolding you when we met, because your skills had been slipping recently. But now, I just want to ask, handsome, can we still team up in the future?" Her personality reminded me a lot of Kyle. I couldn't help but laugh. That must have been my friend playing on my account. I've been busy these past few weeks. She nodded, understanding dawning on her face. "That makes sense. I was wondering why you were suddenly on a rampage, especially targeting Latina." Realizing she'd said too much, she coughed loudly and quickly added, Academics come first. Academics come first." But Latina had clearly heard her. Her face went stiff, her expression like she'd just bitten into something sour. I decided to change the subject. That VR game center has been getting a lot of buzz. Since it's National Day, I thought I'd check it out and finally meet everyone. I turned to the 2 guys behind Cheesecake and greeted them. I remembered their voices but had never seen their faces, funny enough, in real life. They were a lot more reserved than their in-game personas. Cheesecake took a quick head count and asked, "Wait, Latina, isn't Tony coming?" Tony was Latina's new boyfriend. The guy next to Latina suddenly spoke up. "I'm Tony." "Huh?" Cheesecake blinked a couple of times, then quickly apologized. "Sorry, I didn't recognize you, oh. So your avatar wasn't a real photo?" Tony's face turned a bit green. "That was me, just during vacation at the beach." Cheesecake awkwardly muttered, "Well, that's quite a difference." No wonder. Nobody recognized you. Tony had only joined our group recently, and his skills were terrible. Honestly, nobody really wanted to carry him, and frankly, we weren't that familiar with him anyway. He didn't exactly make an effort to be friendly, so people weren't exactly falling over themselves to be nice. He turned away with a stiff face and walked into the game center. At that moment, another guy came out from the entrance. Latina immediately waved him over. Amir! She then turned to us with a smile. This is the friend I was telling you, about the one who got us the tickets. The guy, Amir, smiled and explained. Sorry I'm late. The boss came in this morning, and we had to reorganize some of the equipment. Oh, so this was the professional carry Latina hired before. One of the guys from our group shot him an envious look. Man, must be nice to have those kinds of connections. VIP treatment. It wasn't easy to hire a professional gamer for private training. And not only did Latina manage to do it, she even got tickets from him. No wonder she was feeling so smugger. Face practically glowed with pride. Today's on me. Everyone, play as much as you want. Most of the people there were students, so life was usually budget tight. Latina's offer brought a round of cheers. Woohoo! Latina's the best. This is what it feels like to be a princess, huh? Living the life. The excitement from the crowd seemed to boost Latina's spirits. She and Amir led us inside. The VR game center was massive and decked out in a sleek, futuristic style. As I walked through the entrance, only one thought popped into my head: whoever owned this place had serious cash. Amir walked us through each section, giving a quick explanation of each game. You guys can pick whatever you want, play as long as you like. Everything's on the house today. A guy next to me nudged my shoulder. Man, this is wild. I can't believe she's treating all of us. This place doesn't look cheap. I nodded in agreement. Yeah, it's pretty insane. I wasn't exactly sure why Latina was going all out like this, but I wasn't going to turn down a free VR experience. We geared up, Amir helping to explain the controls and settings, and I noticed Latina sneaking glances at me now and then. For someone who dumped me for my nerdy major, she sure seemed to care a lot. We split into groups to try out the different games. Latina, of course, wanted to team up with me, but before I could say anything, Cheesecake dragged me to another setup. Come on, Zip. Let's play this one. I didn't resist. Latina hesitated for a moment, then reluctantly went with Tony. The game we picked was a multiplayer battle simulation. The VR setup was amazing, full sensory immersion, complete with haptic feedback. As soon as the game started, I was stunned by how realistic everything looked. It felt like stepping into a completely different world. Cheesecake seemed equally impressed. Damn, this is next level. Just as I was about to reply, a familiar, lazy voice came through the in-game communication system. You guys are on that side? I nearly dropped my weapon. Ace, you're here? She let out a soft chuckle. Yeah, Amir asked me to join. Thought it'd be fun. Wait. Amir asked her. I had a sudden realization before I could process it. The game began. Cheesecake and I moved forward cautiously, scanning our surroundings. Suddenly, gunfire erupted, and Tony's frantic voice rang out through the comms. Shit, I got shot. How are they so good? I glanced at the scoreboard. Sure enough, Ace had just killed him. Cheesecake couldn't hold back her laughter. That was fast. Tony respawned and was immediately gunned down again. This time, it wasn't a seat, was Amir. Latina's angry voice came next. What the hell? Are you guys teaming up against us? Ace's lazy tone remained unchanged. You were wide open. Blame yourself. I snickered, Amir added calmly. Try moving as a team, not running around on your own. The match quickly turned into a one-sided massacre. Tony and Latina were repeatedly picked off, while Cheesecake and I kept sweeping through the area. Ace was terrifyingly good. Her shots were precise, and her positioning was flawless. Amir wasn't far behind. When the game ended, Cheesecake threw her hands up in victory. We dominated! Latina looked like she'd swallowed something bitter. Tony, on the other hand, was visibly pissed. I could hear him mutter, "What's so great about being good at games? Some nerds just have too much time on their hands." I raised an eyebrow but didn't bother responding. Ace, meanwhile, glanced at him indifferently. Excuse me? Tony seemed startled, probably realizing that he'd spoken a bit too loudly before he could say more. Latina tried to smooth things over. Hey, it's just a game. Let's all relax, okay? But Cheesecake wasn't having it. Yeah, some people just can't handle losing. Tony glared at her. What did you just say? Cheesecake met his eyes with a smirk. Did I stutter? Amir cut in before things could escalate. All right, let's not turn this into a drama. We're here to have fun. Seeing no point in dragging it out, I suggested, why don't we switch teams and play something else? A co-op game this time? Latina nodded eagerly. Yeah, that sounds good. Ace, as usual, just shrugged. Whatever. We ended up playing a dungeon raid game next, which required coordination and teamwork. Amir took the lead as the tank, I played as a DPS, Ace as the healer, and Cheesecake as support. Latina and Tony joined with different roles, but it was clear they weren't as skilled. Partway through, Latina accidentally pulled a group of elite monsters, and we nearly wiped. Ace calmly healed everyone, barely keeping us alive. Tony snapped, Latina, are you blind? Watch where you're going. Latina's face fell, and I could see her biting her lip. Cheesecake grumbled, What's your problem? It's just a game. Don't be a jerk. Tony glared at her. We almost died because of her. Ace's voice cut through the tension like a cold breeze. If you can't handle mistakes, why don't you solo next time? Tony was clearly taken aback, and Latina didn't say anything, just looking embarrassed. I quickly stepped in. All right, let's just focus on finishing the raid. We can worry about our mistakes afterward. With Ace leading the heals and Amir tanking, we managed to clear the dungeon. Once it was over, Cheesecake stretched with a contented sigh. Man, that was satisfying. Latina looked a bit down, probably because Tony had scolded her in front of everyone. Ace didn't say anything, but I noticed she sent me a private message. Want to grab food after this? I replied, Yeah, you leading the way. Ace responded with a simple, Sure. As the gaming session wrapped up, we all took off our VR gear and headed to the exit. Latina approached me cautiously. Luke, can we talk for a second? I hesitated but nodded. What's up? She glanced around, making sure Tony wasn't nearby. I just didn't expect you to be Zip. I thought you'd be, different. Like a chubby engineering nerd. I replied bluntly. She winced. I didn't mean it like that. I just...